Tennis. Tennis is a sport that was created in 1973 by an Englishman, Major Walter C. Wingfield. This game can be played in singles, where one person versus another, or doubles, where two people versus each other. Equipment required. A few things are required to play tennis, which are proper attire, which includes tennis shoes, collared tennis sports t-shirt, and tennis shorts. A tennis racket, depending on your style and technique. A few branded tennis balls like Wilson or Head. What do you physically and mentally require? Tennis is not just a fast game, but a smart game. You would require a fast, sharp mind with good eye coordination. You must be able to react, respond, and strategize in very limited time. Tennis uses nearly all the muscles in the body. Some of the muscles are abdominal muscle, chest muscle, tri and biceps, knee, thigh muscle, and Achilles heel. Rules of tennis. Tennis can be played in singles, where one person plays the other, or tennis can be played in doubles, where it's 2-on-2. The objective of the game is for you or the other person to score more points than the opponent. One set is equal to 6 games, while being 2 games ahead. A game is equal to 4 points, but must be ahead by 2 points. How to play. The game starts with a serve that must be hit into this area of the court or this area. The player is allowed a maximum of 1 bounce before returning it to the opponent. The purpose of returning it is to hit it over the net before the outline and to make sure your opponent cannot return it. Points. If you score 1 point, it is equal to 15, 2 is 30, and 3 is 40. If you scored 4 points with at least 2 points ahead, then you win the game. But if it's 40-40, then it's called deuce, and therefore you must win 2 points in a row to complete the game. The term love in tennis means 0. What is a double fault? During a serve, you have 2 chances to get the ball in the box, and you must be behind the line. If failed to do either of those, then it's called a double fault, and you lose a point. But if your second serve is in the box, then it isn't a double fault. A double fault is when you serve into the net or out of the serving box area twice. Any of these will award your opponent with a point. Let. Let is a serve when you hit the net and bounces into your opponent's box. This gives you another serve without fault. Ace. If the serving player serves you a legal serve and you fail to touch the ball or cannot return the ball, then it is known as an ace, and the serving player gets awarded the point. Advantage. Advantage is used in deuce when you have 1 out of 2 points to win the game. If you get another point after advantage, then you win the game. Tiebreaker. If the game is tied at 6 games all, then each player takes turns to score a total of 7 points with an advantage of 2 to win the set. What you can't do in tennis. You cannot hit the ball out of play. You cannot hit the ball into the net. You cannot hit the ball twice in the same shot. You cannot touch the net with your body or racket. You can only hit the ball with your racket, and you cannot do a double fault. Any of these will reward your opponent with a point. To get a better understanding of the game and terminology, watch a few games and listen carefully. Now I will demonstrate on how to serve, forehand, backhand, volley, and smash. How to serve. Serving is probably the most important shot in tennis. Having a good serve will be critical in a tennis match. An average professional tennis player can serve up to 250 kilometers an hour. An average tennis player can serve around 70 kilometers per hour, so don't be worried if you feel that your tennis serve is slow. Here is an example of me serving. Now I'm going to demonstrate on how to serve. First, you are required to do when you're serving is to stand behind the baseline diagonally from your opponent. Then arch your back and apply pressure to the opposite dominant foot, which should be in front of your dominant foot. Then toss the ball up straight around 1 meter above your head. Then bend your knees once the ball is tossed and jump, as well as bringing your racket behind your body, making good contact with the tennis racket. Good timing plus good contact equals a great shot. Here is a front view of a slow motion serve. How to do a forehand. Forehand is the most basic and simple stroke. Forehand is probably the most used stroke, so practice it because you'll most definitely need a good one. Here is an example of a good forehand performed by Roger Federer. Now I am going to explain step by step on how to do a forehand. But before you play, make sure that your eyes are always on the ball and follow through. Before returning a forehand, you must have a good standing position like this. Before swinging, put your body weight on the opposite foot to your dominant, which should be in front of your dominant foot. Having a good swing requires good timing and practice. So when you swing, follow through like this. And make sure your contact with the ball is in the center of the racket. How to do a backhand. There are two types of backhand, single hand and double hand. A pro of having a single backhand is extra reach, and a con is it's harder to return the ball. A pro of having a double backhand is that it's easier to hit the ball, but a con would be that your reach is limited. Here is an example of a single hand backhand. Here is an example of a double hand backhand. I'll explain the single backhand, then the double. When returning a ball with a single hand backhand, you must position your body depending on your opponent's shot. Then once you're in a good position like this, then put your body weight on your foot, which should be the opposite to your dominant. Now you can finally swing by rotating your shoulder to the opposite shoulder and follow through. Now the double hand backhand. First you must position yourself before returning the ball. Then you must pivot your foot and rotate your shoulders, preparing for a swing. Then apply body weight on your front foot. After you hit the ball, follow through by rotating your shoulders like this. How to volley. Volleying is very basic, but it's important when it comes to net action. Volleying is like a forehand and backhand, but half the stroke with more angle. Volleying requires quick reflexes and fast hands. This is a good example on how to volley. As we saw in the picture, the first thing you need to do is have a good stance like this. Then angle your racket depending on your opponent's shot. Center the racket so the ball contact is in the middle of the racket and follow through, but don't hit the net, otherwise the point will be awarded to your opponent. How to smash. Smashing the ball when the opponent has lobbed the ball may seem easy and fun, but it's actually hard due to timing and weather conditions. Even professionals fail when smashing. A smash should look like this. In order to smash, make sure the ball is at least a meter above your head. When the ball is up in the air, guess where it is going to bounce or hit the ball on the full. When hitting the ball, make sure you don't take your eyes off the ball and use your left hand, if you're right-handed, to point to the tennis ball, which should give you a guide on when to hit it. Make sure your angle is right, because if it's not, it will either go into the net or out of play. That concludes my tennis tutorial video. But before you go, here is what a tennis game looks like.
Advantage, Murray. And second set, Murray. 6 games to 2. Murray leads 2 sets alone. Third set, Yodrat to serve.